You have people from Université de Sherbrooke, who is our major trainer in ethicists, okay, in applied ethics. So they've got, you know, postgrad diplomas, PhDs, masters, and all that. Well, they cooperate into the design, as does our Centre Interuniversitaire de Recherche en Éthique Appliquée. They're part of our program committee. We've got, of course, the Ethics Practitioners Association, and we work together on what the program is, where do we think ethics practitioners are, and how can we move them one step further. So by doing this, we learn from each other while designing it, and we actually have some kind of common ground when we do the event, okay? Also, what we do is our facilitators, in the last 2 years, what we've done is that we have a lot of breakout sessions, mostly breakout sessions, for sharing and discussion on specific topics. It's more of a kind of a training and conference kind of thing. Our facilitators are trained beforehand by us, and they are students from HEC Montréal. We have students from Université de Sherbrooke, from Université Laval, different ethics centers. So they send their master's degree and PhD students. We form them as facilitators in our line of thought, and they facilitate, so that gives them a lot of networking opportunities. And again, it draws us closer. Okay, so by our practical experience, it has been more successful by having specific projects and, okay, do you want to help out on this one? Okay, you're coming back next year, aren't you? And that for us has been a very, very good experience in networking. Another thing we've done to try and reach out, actually, across the silos is that since last year, all our material from our annual conference, we translate. We don't need to translate it in Quebec, but we translate to put it on the website to actually garner interest from the English community. And also to help, and you know, when we talk about sharing and not being afraid, we made that decision. We invest a lot of time and money to design our workshop and all that. It's all on the web, on the EPAC web. You can actually take off that. I want to do a workshop on whistleblowing like they did in 2006. You've got pretty much everything you need. And you just go in and do your workshop. So for us it was okay, let's open up to try and bridge a bit of that difference. So to conclude, what are our needs? And I'll talk more about needs than hopes. As I said, pragmatic. So for me it's needs that, you know, we need something. First thing would be dissemination of research. Those of you who are, and that's one of my hats, as was said, as a PhD student, well, try to go in the electronic journals and find a French article. Good luck. So there's not many places to disseminate what's going on, and there's really interesting stuff being written at the moment in Quebec, but it's still there. How do we get it out? Okay, so one, it's the language. Two, it's being, you know, being seen. We do have, again, with CIRIA, le Centre Interuniversitaire de Recherche en Éthique Appliquée, on their website, and that, for those who want to go and see, it's CIREA. So you have, we've constructed kind of a data bank where you can have what French, Francophone authors from Quebec are writing on ethics. So we're trying to, but, you know, we'd like to open that up. I would like to be able to use what's being done and written in English Canada in my French classes, because I teach at Université de Sherbrooke, I teach at McGill. Sure, I can use English stuff at McGill, but what do I do when I get into my French classes? Well, I've only got my Quebec material, and still we train our own people in ethics to stay in that silo. So again, if we could have that. Material on best practices. Well, you know, just examples of codes. Well, most companies in English Canada, I can't get their code in French. I can't use it as an example. I'd like to, you know, I talk about it, but there's nothing like really seeing it, touching it. So it's all that accessibility. And the same way, most codes you'll see actually in Quebec are in both languages. Like those that I work with very often, you can't have them available in both languages. Well, maybe that could be promoted more as the best practices we have here in Quebec. So again, it's really bridging that. And I would say, in finishing, helping to stimulate business ethics in Quebec. Because, for example, our annual conferences, it's always sold out in advance. We don't take more than 120 people, because we decided that's the most we can to actually have a very interactive session. So we're always sold out, but the business people are not very, they're not participating very much. We have a lot of people from Crown corporations, so the Hydro-Quebec, Caisse de dépôt, Société des alcools and all that, they're very present. Government is very present. But the business sector in proportion, some of them do come, the banks and all that, but there could be more. And I have a sense that if by the bridging, some kind of Canadian initiative, we probably would get more interest from the business sector itself. So that for me is another area where I think that we have a need to cooperate. So I guess that's about it. And well, I've heard some interesting things, and I just want to make you feel very comfortable. If you want to talk more about what we've been doing, either email me or catch me somewhere here this weekend. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Diane.